Question 1. Considering the evidence, Mr. Martinez is dispatching technicians for multiple emergency HVACR service calls during a severe heat wave. 2 technicians report delays due to traffic congestion, and 1 customer reports worsening health conditions related to lack of air conditioning. How should Mr. Martinez prioritize dispatching the available technicians? A. Prioritize calls based on the order received, regardless of severity. B. Assign the nearest technician to the customer reporting health issues while rescheduling less urgent calls. C. Dispatch technicians evenly across all calls to maintain balance. D. Prioritize the calls of customers who have had longer wait times, regardless of the emergency level. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. In emergency dispatching, prioritization must consider both severity and urgency, especially when health risks are involved, according to standard HVACR dispatch protocols and general emergency management principles, e.g. NFPA 72 guidelines on emergency communications. Customers with health risks due to HVAC failure should be prioritized to prevent harm, traffic delays, and technician location impact response time, so assigning the nearest technician optimizes response efficiency. Options A, C, and D neglect severity and risk, potentially worsening outcomes and violating the core dispatching principle of risk-based prioritization. Question 2. From a practical standpoint, Lee receives a service call from a customer who reports an unusual noise from their heat pump but refuses technician entry due to COVID-19 concerns. How should Lee handle this situation while ensuring both safety and service quality? A. Inform the customer that the service cannot proceed without technician access. B. Arrange for a virtual troubleshooting session and guide the customer to provide detailed symptoms. C. Schedule the service call for a later date without any further customer interaction. D. Dispatch a technician immediately without addressing the customer's concerns. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Effective customer communication and safety protocols are paramount, especially during health crises. Virtual troubleshooting respects customer concerns and enables preliminary assessment, aligning with guidelines from OSHA and CDC regarding COVID-19 safety in service environments. Option A is confrontational and may escalate tension. Option C risks delayed diagnosis and worsening equipment issues. Option D disregards safety concerns, potentially violating health regulations and damaging customer trust. Question 3. Based on the information, Mr. Ahmed is scheduling multiple HVACR appointments for the day. He notices 2 urgent requests are located in opposite city ends, and only 1 technician is available. Which dispatching strategy best balances customer satisfaction and technician efficiency? A. Assign the technician to the closest urgent call and reschedule the other. B. Attempt to split the technician's time evenly between both calls, regardless of travel time. C. Dispatch the technician to the farther call first to get it done early and then proceed to the nearer one. D. Call additional technicians from subcontractor to handle both calls simultaneously. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Prioritizing proximity optimizes travel time and technician productivity, improving response times for at least 1 urgent call and reducing fuel and labor costs. This aligns with dispatching logistics best practices and the concept of route optimization as per industry standards. G. Guidelines on dispatch logistics. Option B ignores inefficiencies caused by excessive travel. Option C risks delayed service for the closer urgent call. Option D might be ideal, but may not be feasible or cost-effective without prior agreements. Question 4. When considering safety protocols, O'Connor must ensure technicians comply with hazardous refrigerant handling regulations during service calls. Which of the following best reflects her responsibility as dispatcher? A. Verify that technicians have current certifications for refrigerant handling and communicate this to customers. B. Schedule service calls without regard to technician certifications. C. Delegate all safety compliance responsibilities to the technician on site. D. Only keep records of technician certifications without any further action. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Dispatchers play a critical role in compliance by verifying technician qualifications to ensure regulatory adherence, e.g. EPA Section 608 refrigerant handling rules. Informing customers builds trust and protects the company legally. Ignoring certifications. B. Deferring all responsibility to technicians. C. Or passive record keeping. D. Risk regulatory violations, unsafe practices, and liability. Question 5. In the context of using dispatch software, Mr. Patel is managing technicians using GPS tracking integrated with the CRM. What is the primary advantage of real-time GPS data in dispatching HVACR service calls? A. It allows monitoring technician speed for disciplinary action. B. It enables dynamic routing based on traffic and job priority. C. It replaces all technician communication. D. It reduces the need for customer interaction. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Real-time GPS data enhances operational efficiency by enabling dispatchers to adapt technician routes dynamically, reducing travel time and improving customer service responsiveness as recommended by dispatch software best practices and logistics optimization literature. Options A, C, and D misunderstand the purpose. Monitoring speed is typically secondary feature. GPS does not replace technician communication, and customer interaction remains essential. Question 6. Given the circumstances, Jackson is handling a complaint from a customer who states the technician did not fully document the service performed. How should Jackson address this issue to maintain regulatory compliance and customer satisfaction? A. Ignore the complaint as documentation is the technician's responsibility. B. Immediately escalate to management without investigating. C. Review available documentation. Contact the technician for clarification and follow up with the customer. D. Apologize and offer discount without addressing documentation concerns. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Proper documentation is essential for compliance with industry standards such as OSHA and company policies and provides legal protection. The dispatcher's role includes facilitating accurate record keeping and maintaining customer trust. Option A. Neglects responsibility. B. Bypasses due process. And D. Avoids addressing root cause, risking recurring problems. Question 7. Taking into account the fundamental principles of thermodynamics, Isternewin is dispatching for an air conditioning system that shows signs of inefficient heat transfer. Which technician specialization should he prioritize for this call? A. Electrical systems specialist. B. Refrigeration cycle and heat transfer expert. C. Ventilation systems technician. D. Control systems programmer. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Inefficient heat transfer is directly related to the refrigeration cycle and thermodynamic principles. A technician with expertise in these areas can diagnose problems such as refrigerant charge issues, coil fouling, or compressor faults, while electrical or ventilation specialists may assist. The core problem relates to refrigeration physics. Control systems programming addresses operational logic. Thermodynamics. Question 8. When analyzing the logistics of technician workloads, Wilson notices one technician is consistently overloaded while others are underutilized. What is the best dispatching approach to resolve this? A. Continue as is because the overloaded technician is more experienced. B. Rebalance the workload evenly considering skills, locations, and call priorities. C. Assign all urgent calls to the overloaded technician for efficiency. D. Ignore workload balance and focus only on call volume. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Balancing workloads optimizes resource use, reduces technician burnout, and maintains service quality. Dispatchers should consider skill sets, geography, and call urgency to assign calls fairly per workforce management best practices. Options A, C, and D risk inefficiency, low morale, and potential safety incidents due to fatigue. Question 9. In light of recent developments in HVACR regulations, Mr. Lopez must ensure his dispatch team is compliant with new safety documentation requirements for refrigerant leaks. What is the most effective way for Mr. Lopez to enforce compliance? A. Provide training on documentation standards and integrate checklists into the dispatch software. B. Assume technicians will comply without additional measures. C. Delegate documentation oversight to the customers. D. Remove all documentation requirements to speed up dispatch. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. training and technology integration ensure consistent compliance with evolving regulatory requirements. EPA OSHA checklists help technicians remember critical documentation steps. Assumptions or delegation to customers, B and C, are ineffective and irresponsible. Removing documentation, D, is illegal and unsafe. Question 10. Through the lens of effective communication is Rivero's dealing with a customer upset over a delayed technician arrival caused by unforeseen traffic accidents. How should she handle this call to de-escalate the situation? A. Explain the delay is out of the company's control and offer no further resolution. B. Empathize with the customer, explain the situation honestly, provide new estimated arrival time and offer follow-up contact. C. Avoid answering customer questions and transfer the call to management. D. Promise discount immediately without discussing the delay details. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Effective de-escalation involves empathy, transparency, and proactive communication, all of which build trust and reduce frustration, aligning with customer service best practices in HVACR dispatch. Ignoring concerns. A. Passing responsibility without engagement. C. Or offering discounts without explanation. D. Can erode customer confidence. Question 11. In the context of technician workload management, Thompson notices that one of her technicians consistently completes more calls per day than others. However, customer feedback indicates rushed service and unresolved issues. What should Thompson do next as a dispatcher? A. Reassign fewer but more complex calls to the technician to better match performance. B. Continue assigning the same volume of calls due to the technician's speed. C. Monitor service outcomes and discuss performance concerns with the technician. D. Reward the technician for high productivity without changes. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. While high productivity may seem beneficial, unresolved issues and negative feedback indicate possible quality lapses. A dispatcher should monitor outcomes and address concerns following guidelines from ACAS quality assurance protocols. Reassignment A may help, but not without first understanding root causes. Options B and D ignore service quality and risk customer dissatisfaction. Question 12. When analyzing HVACR documentation compliance, Ibrahim discovers that some technicians are failing to properly log refrigerant usage. What is the most appropriate first step in addressing this? A. Immediately report the technicians to EPA authorities. B. Provide targeted training and refresh them on Section 608 requirements. C. Terminate the technicians to avoid legal exposure. D. Ignore the issue if customer systems are functioning properly. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. EPA Section 608 mandates that refrigerant use and recovery be documented accurately. Non-compliance risks substantial fines. However, the first step is education and corrective training, not immediate punitive action unless violations persist. Options A and C escalate unnecessarily, while D neglects legal obligations and EPA standards. Question 13. From multiple perspectives, Jenkins is coordinating with both the sales and service departments. She's receiving conflicting information about which customer issues are warranty versus billable work. What should she do to avoid dispatch errors and customer disputes? A. Schedule calls as warranty by default to avoid confrontation. B. Confirm service contract details in CRM before dispatching. C. Leave it to technicians to determine billing status during the visit. D. Cancel any disputed calls until internal teams can agree. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Proper use of ERM tools ensures dispatchers verify contractual obligations before assigning technicians. This reduces miscommunication and improves customer satisfaction according to best practices in ERM-enabled dispatching. Proactive validation avoids billing errors. Options A, C, and D defer resolution and increase the risk of customer disputes and operational inefficiency. Question 14. As evidenced by recent changes in HVACR technology, Walters notices some technicians struggle with newly integrated smart thermostats. What action should he take as dispatcher to ensure service quality? A. Assign only senior technicians to calls involving smart technology. B. Offer refresher training and update skill profiles in the dispatch system. C. Let technicians self-report if they're comfortable handling the technology. D. Ask customers to troubleshoot the devices themselves. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Maintaining an updated skill database and providing training aligns with dispatch software optimization and HR practices. Account and Nate recommend continuous training to match evolving HVACR technologies. Option A may create bottlenecks while C and D undermine standardization and service professionalism. Question 15. Through the lens of legal compliance, Mr. Scott is reviewing technician reports and notices that hazardous materials labels were not attached to refrigerant canisters after use. What should his next step be? A. File a report with OSHA immediately. B. Instruct the technician to correct the documentation and conduct safety training. C. Ignore the issue if there's no incident reported. D. Dispose of the canisters without correcting the record. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Improper labeling of hazardous materials violates both OSHA's Hazard Communication Standard 29 CFR 1910.1200 and EPA refrigerant management rules. Dispatchers must support documentation compliance and retrain when necessary. Reporting to OSHA may be premature, and options C and D are both legally negligent. Question 16. Under the assumption that a major storm disrupts regional power as Davison receives numerous HVACR emergency calls, which of the following actions should she prioritize to ensure efficient triage? A. Schedule calls based on customer loyalty history. B. Log all requests and dispatch based on health risks, system type, and technician availability. C. Hold off dispatching until power is fully restored. D. Send the same technician to all calls to reduce confusion. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Emergency triage and HVACR dispatch prioritizes health risks. E. G. Medical equipment, elderly residents, system types. E. G. Commercial refrigeration and technician location. FEMA emergency response principles and local jurisdictional guidance on essential services recommend structured prioritization. Options A, C, and D ignore urgency and efficiency principles. Question 17. What would happen if dispatchers failed to document customer communications regarding appointment changes or verbal approvals? A. Customers would appreciate less paperwork. B. It would reduce dispatcher workload. C. It could result in disputes and regulatory non-compliance. D. Technicians would take over full responsibility. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Proper documentation of verbal communication is essential for legal and service accountability. FTC rules and internal service agreements often require tracking verbal confirmations and changes. Lack of documentation can result in disputes, lost revenue, and non-compliance with company policy. Other options ignore the necessity of a paper trail in service industries. Question 18. The impact of ERM tools on dispatch operations includes which of the following benefits? A. Reducing the need to answer customer calls. B. Providing access to historical service data to improve dispatch decisions. C. Eliminating the need for technician feedback. D. Allowing dispatchers to bypass scheduling protocols. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. ERM platforms enhance dispatch accuracy by providing service histories, technician notes, and customer preferences. This supports better matching and scheduling. According to HVACR software best practices and a CAD dispatch optimization guidance, historical data reduces repeat visits and improves satisfaction. Options A, C, and D misinterpret ERM's role. Question 19. With the advent of digital scheduling platforms, Raise receives a notification that 2 technicians were double booked for overlapping jobs. What should she do first? A. Cancel both appointments to prevent conflict. B. Call the customers and negotiate rescheduling based on urgency and availability. C. Ignore the alert until one technician complains. D. Assign both technicians and let them resolve it on site. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. proactive customer communication and schedule realignment based on urgency preserve professionalism and satisfaction. Dispatch best practices emphasize real-time resolution using available software tools, canceling both A, ignoring the alert, C, or pushing responsibility to technicians, D, reflects poor dispatching oversight and may lead to confusion. Question 20. To better understand HVACR core prioritization, which of the following represents the least appropriate factor for a dispatcher to consider when evaluating service urgency? A. Age of the HVAC unit. B. Potential health impact on the occupants. C. Presence of essential commercial refrigeration. D. Severity of symptoms described by the customer. Answer. Correct answer, A. Explanation. While the age of equipment may impact long-term maintenance, it is not a reliable measure of core urgency. Urgency depends on health impact, operational failure, or critical infrastructure, particularly for medical or food service environments. ACAT prioritization guidelines and emergency dispatch standards support this triage logic. Option A may influence planning, but not immediate dispatch priority. Question 21. While examining scheduling software performance, Mr. Brantley notices that multiple appointments are being double-booked for the same technician across different time zones. What is the most appropriate corrective action you should take? A. Turn off time zone syncing to reduce software complexity. B. Manually assign appointments without using the software. C. Reconfigure the scheduling software's time zone settings and audit technician calendars. D. Ask technicians to reschedule the affected jobs on their own. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Dispatch systems often support time zone synchronization, especially for companies serving regional clients. Misconfigured time settings cause calendar conflicts and customer dissatisfaction. Okay, software best practices recommend proper calibration of scheduling platforms and regular auditing. Option A disables an essential feature, manual assignment. B increases errors. Option D offloads dispatcher duties. Question 22. During the process of triaging service calls, Fleming receives a report from a nursing facility with multiple non-functioning AC units. Which of the following should be a top dispatching priority? A. Schedule them after regular commercial customers. B. Prioritize the facility due to health and safety risks of vulnerable occupants. C. Treat all calls equally regardless of customer type. D. Schedule based on technician availability alone. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Dispatchers must prioritize facilities that serve vulnerable populations, including nursing homes, hospitals, and daycare centers. OSHA NFPA 99, healthcare facilities, and FEMA emergency response frameworks emphasize prioritizing safety, treating all calls equally. C. Or focusing solely on technician logistics. D. Violates ethical and regulatory dispatching standards. Question 23. Among the various causes of customer dissatisfaction, which dispatcher behavior most directly contributes to unresolved HVACR issues and repeat calls? A. Accurately logging all service notes into CRM system. B. Failing to communicate key issue details from the customer to the technician. C. Scheduling follow-up visits promptly. D. Confirming technician arrival times with customers. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Dispatchers act as a critical link between customers and technicians. Failure to relay issue-specific details causes diagnostic delays in complete service and return visits. Can dispatching best practices highlight the importance of complete call notes and issue description, while options A, C, and D improve service quality. B directly causes technical missteps. Question 24. As demonstrated by a sudden increase in no-access calls, Mr. Devine finds that several technicians are arriving at homes where customers are not present. Which strategy should he implement to reduce this trend? A. Increase technician penalties for failed appointments. B. Instruct technicians to call customers directly before arrival. C. Implement automated customer reminders with appointment confirmation options. D. Stop scheduling residential calls in certain neighborhoods. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Automated reminders Texts, emails, or calls are industry standard and significantly reduce failed appointments. Confirmations allow rescheduling proactively according to the service roundtable and account dispatching strategies. Automation increases customer compliance. Option A punishes technicians unfairly. Option B helps but adds manual workload. Option D is discriminatory and unethical. Question 25. At the advent of integrated field service apps, Valdez wants to enhance technician efficiency during on-site visits. What is the most effective feature to implement in the dispatching system? A. Voice-only communication with dispatch. B. Paper-based service forms. C. Real-time access to job history, equipment data, and previous notes via mobile device. D. Restrict technician access to job information to prevent confusion. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Field service management platforms allow mobile access to CRM data, part histories, and customer notes, reducing diagnostic time and return visits. This is endorsed by manufacturers and has dispatch technology integration guidance. Paper-based systems. B. Increase errors. Restricting access. D. Lowers productivity. Voice-only. A. Lacks documentation integrity. Question 26. In response to a customer complaint about missed ETA commitments, Mr. Lewis must adjust his team's approach. Which adjustment most effectively improves ETA reliability and customer satisfaction? A. Promise all customers the earliest possible time, regardless of accuracy. B. Provide wide appointment windows to minimize pressure. C. Use GPS tracking and real-time status updates to provide accurate ETAs. D. Ask technicians to rush between jobs. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. GPS-based ETA updates improve accuracy and transparency and are a feature of most dispatch platforms. According to customer service metrics, real-time updates reduce anxiety and complaints. Options A and D lead to broken promises or unsafe driving. Wide windows. B. Reduce satisfaction due to lack of specificity. Question 27. To illustrate this point, Warner is managing dispatch for a service company that handles both HVACR and plumbing calls. Technicians from both departments use the same software. What's key configuration dispatchers should set? A. Disable technician skill tagging for simplicity. B. Use skill-based job filtering to ensure only HVACR techs receive HVACR calls. C. Assign all calls on first-come, first-served basis. D. Allow technicians to select their preferred jobs. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Skill-based job filtering ensures proper job-to-tech alignment, reducing misassignments and improving efficiency. Software platforms like Serviceton and FieldEdge support this. Disabling tags A or allowing personal preference. D. Undermines dispatch control. First-come methods. C. Fail under high call volume and mixed disciplines. Question 20. Contrary to popular belief, dispatchers do have influence on safety compliance. If Mr. Stewart notices that a technician repeatedly enters non-PPE checklists for refrigerant service calls, what should he do? A. Require technician retraining and follow up on field compliance. B. Remove the checklist from the software. C. Assume the technician knows what they're doing. D. Report the technician to customers directly. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Dispatchers must reinforce safety documentation and protocols. EPA refrigerant handling rules and OSHA 1910 standards require PPE for refrigerants. Dispatch software should trigger a training when compliance lapses. Removing checklists or ignoring technician behavior invites liability. Public shaming. D is unethical and counterproductive. Question 29. Taking into account customer communication practices, which statement reflects a dispatcher's best response when technician is delayed by more than 1 hour? A. Wait until the customer calls to ask. B. Immediately inform the customer of the delay and provide revised ETA. C. Tell the technician to explain it on arrival. D. Cancel the call without notice. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Timely communication maintains trust. The Better Business Bureau and industry customer service guidelines encourage proactive outreach. It sets realistic expectations and avoids surprise or resentment. Waiting for customers. A. Deferring to techs. C. Or silent cancellation. D. Are unprofessional and damaging. Question 30. The underlying principle of dispatch coordination is balance. If as Hamilton is working with a limited number of techs during peak season, what strategy would best maximize efficiency without degrading service quality? A. Overload the fastest technician to complete more jobs. B. Use zone-based dispatching and triage calls by urgency and skill match. C. Accept every incoming call regardless of capacity. D. Only handle repeat customers during peak hours. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Zone-based dispatching reduces travel and triaging by urgency ensures emergencies are addressed. This strategy is supported by innate dispatching efficiency models and improves technician utilization. Overloading leads to burnout. Accepting all calls. C. Damages performance. Serving only repeat clients. D. Excludes potential growth and leads to poor public image.